The death of Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, was announced on Friday the 9th of April. And as the flag at Buckingham Palace was lowered to half-mast, the world is now asking, how is the Queen? Because she is now mourning the loss of her soulmate. Well, Queen Elizabeth said that our country owed her husband a greater debt than he would ever claim, or we shall ever know. So today I am talking about Prince Harry, Meghan Markle and the Duke of Edinburgh, and the lessons that both Harry and Meghan could learn from his legacy. I'm Sue Blackhurst and I help people just like you to find confidence and build more constructive relationships with the people around you by understanding how to read and interpret human behaviour. So if you'd like to learn how to do it for yourself, then do stay watching and I'll tell you more about it at the end of this video. And if you do enjoy my videos, please do like them and do share if you can. And whilst you're at it, why not follow me on Instagram for my daily motivational quotes, hints and tips. Even though we all knew that Prince Philip was very, very poorly, when the news of his death flashed up on my phone, I was totally shocked. And I don't think I'm alone in feeling that sudden rush of both surprise and sadness. But that feeling of loss is actually still with me. But that's bizarre because it's a grief about a man that I never knew. But it was a man that has been there all of my life. Prince Philip was a man who did so much to steer the monarchy through, as we know, some of the most difficult times. He was also a man who represented the British establishment, and he was always there, standing to attention by the Queen's side. So maybe the fact that we're all feeling so much grief lies in the knowledge that we will never see him by her side again. Well, on the 7th of April 2020, almost 1 year to the day before the death of the Duke of Edinburgh, I posted this video up here to talk about the Queen and her soulmate. And there's no doubt that Prince Philip earned the affection of generations around the world because he dedicated a lifetime of service to Britain and to his wife, Queen Elizabeth. And as husband and wife, the Duke of Edinburgh gave the Queen a huge sense of both stability and integrity. He was her rock and he was always there to guide and support her through both the good and the bad times. So she must now feel totally lost and alone without her soulmate by her side. Now, I don't think that there are very many families out there who can't say they haven't had a challenging 12 months because there's literally millions of families who will have been affected by the global pandemic. And then there's thousands who can have family fallouts. And of course, there are those who have got family members who no longer want to be part of the family business. But there aren't many who have had to deal with all of that on such a public domain at 99 years of age. An age when you really should have the family focused on making your last years the best rather than making them the worst. So looking at all the challenges thrown at Prince Philip over the past 12 months, for me the most upsetting and stressful time must surely be centred around the actions of Harry and Meghan. Insiders have said that Harry was Prince Philip's favourite grandson, so it's no surprise that reports claim that he was devastated when Harry declared that he wanted to quit royal life. As a man with incredibly strong values and a huge sense of honour, Prince Philip apparently struggled with what he saw was Harry's dereliction of duty by giving up his homeland and stepping back from official duties. And had that been it, then I'm sure that, like most fairy tales, the prince and his wife would have been able to ride off into the Californian sunset to live happily ever after. But Harry and Meghan just wouldn't let it go, would they? And their recent interview allegations spot this crisis that went right through the palace and the monarchy. And as emergency meetings and deliberations were bound to have been scheduled on how to deal with the most hurtful accusations, I was going to say the most damaging accusations, but Andrew still holds the title for that award. But these accusations were undoubtedly the most hurtful, as this wasn't just negative press, it was a personal attack on the Queen as head of the royal family and the institution that she has faultlessly led for 70 years. Well, as with every crisis, the Queen and Prince Philip were the ones that everybody would turn to for guidance on how to deal with the fallout. But there was now one huge game-changing difference. Because when the interview aired, the Duke of Edinburgh, the one person who didn't suffer fools gladly and would have, dealt with Harry straight away, was lying in a hospital bed recovering from heart surgery, and that meant that the Queen had to deal with this on her own. To Elizabeth, Philip was far more than consort to the Queen. He was the one person who was always there to listen to her and to talk to her when there was any scandal that hit the family. So without her rock to turn to help her find clarity and direction, the Queen was almost going into battle unarmed. And Harry and Meghan knew that, which is why I feel it was the most unforgivable timing. Harry and Meghan went into battle against the royal family, when the one person who the Queen needed more than ever by her side was basically taken out of action. Philip started out admiring Meghan because she was also an outsider that married into the family just like he did. But here ends the similarities, and here starts the greatest difference between the old school ways of integrity and tradition against the new school ways of woke and what about me. Philip and Meghan couldn't have approached their lives and career more differently, and there are some huge lessons that Harry and Meghan could learn from his legacy. On June the 2nd, 1953, Elizabeth was crowned, and Prince Philip pledged his allegiance to Queen Elizabeth II. He knew from that day forward his primary role was to support the Queen and country. Prince Philip spent his entire existence devoted to doing his duty and dedicated his whole adult life supporting and living the values of the British monarchy. Now that is 68 years putting duty before his own personal needs. Granted, there will have been good times and bad times because no marriage is 100% perfect 100% of the time. But he made a vow and he never faltered to stick by it. His influence, especially in the early days of the Queen's reign, cannot and should not be ever underestimated in history. Then, Prince Harry was born and raised with the same standards and duty to the Queen. But then, just like Philip, Meghan joined the family as an outsider, claiming that she understood her role and wanted, in her words, to hit the ground running. But unlike Philip, Meghan appeared to lack integrity, commitment and duty to the monarchy, and together they threw in the towel after just 2 years. Prince Philip was incredibly protective of his wife, and she would lean on him for advice, humour and spontaneity, particularly over family matters. And the support that he gave to her privately behind the scenes can never be exaggerated, because he was supportive to her as both his wife and as the Queen. His job was never to let her down, so if anybody ever upset the Queen, they upset him too. And Prince Philip's mantra was always that the monarchy should come first, second and third. But in stark contrast, Meghan supported herself, and together Harry and Meghan put themselves first, second and third. Their roles as members of the royal family appeared to come a long way after the opportunities to become Hollywood celebrities. And if their plan to achieve their ultimate goal involved upsetting the Queen and the institution, it looks like it was an inevitable consequence that they were both willing to accept. Prince Philip was the greatest force behind the modernisation of the British royal family because he was the one to embrace all the new technology, because in 1969 he gave the BBC unprecedented access to the day-to-day lives of the royal family, so the world could finally get to see and get to know the real people behind the titles. And I think it's quite bizarre that almost 30 years before Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Prince Philip helped make the royal family the first ever stars of what we now know as reality TV. So Prince Philip was the one who made the British royal family the biggest stars on the planet. Well, Meghan had the same visions of being part of the biggest stars on the planet. But where Prince Philip wanted to modernise the royal family with the royal family's interest in mind, Meghan, on the other hand, wanted to modernise the British royal family for her own self-promotion and for her to be seen as their saviour, whilst also using the royal family to raise her own profile. And when obstacles in the form of tradition and royal protocol were put in her way, meaning that she didn't get what she wanted, she went out to criticise every aspect of royal life, culminating with the tell-all interview with the biggest talk show host on the planet. Part of Prince Philip's amazing legacy is the transformation of the royals from these remote ceremonial figures that were hidden away behind palace walls into a real family who, when in private, also lived a normal life. Meghan Markle, on the other hand, well, her legacy is the attempt to create friction and conflict throughout the monarchy, with allegations that they are, in fact, heartless, cold racists who left her with no option but to save her trapped husband from the hold that they had over him, and then her determination to reveal all to the world. Well, over the past 70 years, the Queen and Prince Philip have taken the royal family from behind closed doors to the most famous and well-renowned and loved family around the world. And over the past 2 years, Meghan has taken a wrecking ball through the walls of the palace in an attempt to destroy everything that the Queen and Prince Philip have worked tirelessly to achieve. What kind of reception Harry will receive when he returns to the UK for his grandfather's funeral is uncertain. But one thing I hope is that the press stop feeding Harry and Meghan the fame that they so publicly deny that they want. Our focus now must surely be on the Queen. After the past year, she must be feeling so desperately sad and alone without Philip by her side, providing her with the normality to her life. And if anything positive is to come out of this, well, I hope that Harry and Meghan now read the public comments and the sentiments about Prince Philip from the world. Because they talk of a man who put title and duty first, a man who stood by the titles and privileges bestowed upon him for the good of the people that he served. Prince Philip was a man whose forward-thinking focus was to build up and not tear down. He was a much-loved and highly respected public figure, a devoted husband and a proud and loving father, a grandfather and, in recent years, a great-grandfather. Harry and Meghan are no way instrumental into the death of Prince Philip, as some bizarre tabloids have tried to claim. But maybe they are the cause of his saddest final memories, as he knew that he was leaving his dearest Lilibet to face these accusations alone. Well, our Queen now deserves to end her reign knowing that she is leaving the House of Windsor in order. And at 94 years of age, I'm not sure how much more grief she can take. So if Harry and Meghan want to sail away in a sinking ship, that is their choice. But they now need to stop trying to take the monarch down with them. The Queen needs resolute unity from her family during what are bound to be her darkest days in the coming weeks. Because every day she's going to wake up and her first thought will be that her self-proclaimed rock is no longer by her side. Do you have friends, colleagues or family members that you really struggle to get on with? You know, those people who intimidate you with their domineering behaviours, or those who frustrate you with their lack of any sense of urgency? Well, the first step is to understand who you are and how you are perceived by others. And the second step is then to understand other people and how their behaviour affects you. Because only then can you appreciate how and why we all differ and learn how to adapt and do something about it. Well, over the past 24 years, I have helped literally thousands of people to manage and deal with the most difficult relationships, and I can teach you how to do it too. After completing my online questionnaire, you will receive your own personal behaviour analysis. But it's so detailed that it needs explaining, so you will also get a 90 minutes of one-to-one feedback with me. Well, to find out more information, just email me with the words "tell me who I am" to sue@sueblackhurst.com. I'll also pop my email address in the description box below. Wow, quite an emotional one this week. Well, thank you so much again for watching. Please do like and share this video. And if you haven't already subscribed, then why not do it now? And also follow me on Instagram. Do take care, and I will see you all next time.